Hola extraños y extraños, YouTube aquí Breman con otra aventura de este Remaster en esta PlayStation 4, en esta linda noche un poco tormentosa para mí. Espero que estén bien y continuamos con la aventura del agente Selen, el suizo, que intenta resolver el misterio de quién es el cuervo. Y bueno, espero que puedan disfrutar de este directo, que seguramente va a ser corto en comparación al que tuvimos ayer el domingo, y que la música está mega alta, porque subílo por un momento. Déjame configurar. Tenía los audífonos, dejarlo así. Lo tenía un poquito alto porque estaba jugando de las Us ayer en la noche y como no tenía tiempo de seguir jugar ese. Pero bueno, vamos a continuar y nos dejamos una parte muy interesante. En el directo que tuvimos avanzamos muchísimo, que tuvimos 4 horas investigando. El agente Selen llegó a este crucero que nos atacaron, uno de los personajes, la baronesa, fue asesinado y descubrimos que el asesino es nada más y nada menos que el doctor. A ver, ¿puedo traer un poquito de resumen? Pistas, pruebas. Lograron y la gente encontraron el arma asesina en la pasada del casco. A lo mejor el asesino quiso deshacerse de ella sin que la vieran, con la mala suerte de no conocer bien el barco. Pero hay algo que escapa. Si yo fuera un asesino y quiero hacer desaparecer una prueba de... hicimos varios análisis, hablamos con un montón de gente y encontramos la prueba de que al final el asesino es el doctor y que nos descubrió. Y tengo una teoría de por qué. ¿Recuerdan que en el directo vimos a la baronesa que se desmayó cuando llegó y vio el barco porque dijo que vio algo que la asustó? Con la nota que encontramos, ella quería hablar con Selen y quería decirle que alguien del barco era un asesino y que en ese momento, un poco después, fue asesinada. Y sabemos que el doctor. Y sabemos que el doctor tiene un acento de ruso. Entonces mi teoría es que en la guerra, en la Segunda Guerra Mundial, sabemos que la familia de la baronesa murió, pero no sabemos cómo. Yo creo que el doctor tenía algo que ver y entonces, bueno. A lo mejor doy con más pruebas si el doctor Gerard me ha atado, pretende matarme. Debo actuar cuanto antes. Ok, ahora ¿qué podemos hacer? Vamos a hablar con él. No, estamos drogados y avanzados. Buscar el cuenco. Cloroformo. Ok, no puedo cogerlo, tengo que liberarme. No puedo moverme. Bien. No tenemos fuerza. Vamos a hablar con él. Vamos a ver si podemos hablar con él para distraerlo o algo así. Anestesia, asesinato de la baronesa. Es verdad, ¿por qué mató a la baronesa?
Why did the Baroness have to snoop around? Why did you have to snoop around? And that glove there, you want to plant evidence on me, yeah? I left no evidence, there is no trail. And yet you can't just leave me in peace, can you?
Pues tenemos la malla, tenemos el guante, o sea, te dejaste prueba, amiguito. A ver. Claro, para no de mañana. La anestesia.
I had it in my bag, just in case. You were supposed to be asleep. I am not a monster, you know? I have nothing against you. Nothing at all. But what can I do? You forced my hand. It's your fault. Yours alone.
Ay, Dios. Al final como que me estaba empezando que nunca me cayó bien, pero como lo del barco, eso explica por qué él estaba nervioso cuando nos vio, nos bebimos la bebida, no quería separarse y mató a la baronesa durmiendo, o sea, vamos, su plan.
And what next? Heart failure happens a lot at your age, especially given your
Sabe que
background.
tenemos problemas del corazón.
I am still considering whether I should throw you overboard. Don't leave evidence. No evidence. But what if I'm seen?
Claro.
My plan was perfect. And then you ruined everything.
No fue culpa nuestra que el cuervo nos atacó y que ella te reconoció.
Can't reach it.
Ahora. A ver, vamos. Bien.
A pair of scissors.
Perfecto. Tenemos las tijeras. No. ¡Mierda! Ay, no.
Take it easy, Mr. Zelda. You will only hurt yourself.
A ver.
Shall we begin?
No, 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 no.
It's
¡De la
almost-
tijera! ¡Oh!
I will.
Uy, ¿qué le inyectamos? Uy, Selen.
Are you okay?
Ese era Selen. Yo lo digo por la ropa. Podía haber atacado directamente con la tijera. Pero bueno, nos salvamos. Eso es lo importante. Uf.
Thanks.
A wet towel works miracles. I told you so.
Out with it then. What were you doing down there?
Inspector, at least let the constable recover his
¿Es
breath.
He
verdad?
almost killed himself.
Me? No. Dr. Gebhardt would have taken care of that for me. Where is he?
Gebhardt? He's vanished without a trace. We're searching the ship from top
Ay,
to
se
bottom.
escapó.
One at a time. Tell me, Zelda, what did you find out?
Dr. Gebhardt killed Baroness von Trebitz.
Impossible.
Do you have proof?
Besides the fact that he wanted to kill me?
But wasn't the doctor with you when the shot was fired?
Espérate, espérate. El disparo fue una distracción. Espérate, pero entonces ¿quién fue que nos salvó? Porque ¿quién desmayó al doctor? Porque él debió quedar desmayado. O sea, ¿alguien más nos salvó? ¿Sería la mamá de Matt? ¿O el violinista?
The gunshot was just a distraction. It wasn't the shot that killed the Baroness.
But how?
The shot that we heard was a recording. The Baroness had a tape recorder and good speakers in her cabin. Good enough to make the noise audible on the upper deck.
Is that just your suspicion, or do you have proof?
Tengo pruebas.
There's an audio tape in the medical center. The reel belongs to the tape player in the Baroness's cabin. And there's a sibling reel in her cabin that belongs to the recorder in the medical center.
Exactamente.
He recorded it in the cargo hold.
Claro,
His
por
tape
eso
recorder has a
disparó.
microphone. And I removed a bullet from one of the boxes down there.
Demostró.
And it came from the murder weapon?
All right.
Exactamente.
Inspector Legrand.
Un telegrama.
Let's pretend you're onto something. The shot we heard was just a recording. What happened
Okay.
next?
We all ran to the Baroness's cabin. She
ella
lay
estaba
comatose
muerta.
in a pool of blood. Dr. Gebhardt pushed past you so that you couldn't get too close to the Baroness.
Claro.
He examined her and pronounced her dead. There was no reason for us to doubt him.
El disparo.
The shot, the blood, the Baroness lying there lifelessly. But she was only unconscious.
¿Qué?
Knocked out by the chloral hydrate that the
Estaba
doctor
viva.
had poured into her glass shortly before.
The doctor had a glass in his hand when you came in.
He wanted to remove the evidence. But you gave me the glass instead, Captain DeConti, and unintentionally knocked me out as well.
Nonsense. There was blood everywhere. And the Baroness is certainly dead enough, isn't she?
Pero
Then
era
who
sangre
did shoot
falsa.
her? And when?
No le disparó, la envenenó. Claro, es que no hay herida de bala, o sea. El doctor en el centro médico. No, es que no pudo envenenarla. Y en el camarote no pudo tener tiempo. Claro, se llevó el cadáver pensando que era un cadáver, pero entonces era el centro médico.
As I already said, it was Dr. Gebhardt. He had the sleeping Baroness brought to the medical center, where he had all the time in the world to shoot her.
Claro.
A fine theory, but unfortunately incorrect. I examined the Baroness before she was taken away.
Coño, fue matada en
She
la
had a
cabeza.
bullet wound in
Coño,
her
vale.
chest.
Besides which, she was already cold when we brought her to the
Claro,
medical
es
center.
verdad.
All the same, it's worth considering the possibility. The doctor was alone in the cabin for a while. When the alarm went off, it was death.
Claro, la alarma
Couldn't
fue
even
para
hear myself.
ensombrecer.
And I found a
El
pillow
disparo.
with burn marks. Could have been used to muffle a gunshot.
Exacto.
The blood?
The blood
pasa?
wasn't real. Dr. Gebhardt mixed up a liquid that looked like fresh blood
Claro,
to the
porque se
casual
mantuvo fresca
observer,
por mucho
but the
tiempo.
liquid remained red instead of becoming darker and browner from exposure to the air. That meant he had to clean
Claro,
the
porque se
body
había
and get
comido.
rid of the bedding.
But the blood was already there when we first entered the cabin.
Dr. Gebhardt was in the Baroness's cabin before the murder. He hid a surgical glove full of the red liquid under her sheet. The Baroness, dead tired, fell onto her bed, the glove burst, and the blood spread across the bed. I found the burst glove in the medical center.
But why did he do it? What was his motive?
Inspector?
A ver, sabemos quién es Edgar. Tenía que ver con el ojo de... No. Ella chantajeaba al doctor. Solo puedo especular, a ver.
I can only speculate. The Baroness spent the day rummaging through her old family photos.
No, no, no.
Do you have anything to contribute, Constable?
Confession, sir.
¿Confesión?
Dr. Gebhardt was the Raven. It's
¿Qué?
all here. He admits to everything.
What does it say?
It says, do you still remember, my dear Nico? The streets were wet with rain and the scent of roasted barley and fermenting yeast wafted over to us from the brewery. The dog barked until your shot struck down the innocent one. After that silence, not a single sound except for my soft steps fading on the wet cobblestone street. They made a hero of you, and I, at last, found peace. At least until the urge returned. Some of us are not made for retirement, my friend. I thought they would assign this case to you, and that thought pleased me. We'd finally find out who was truly the better man. And it pains me now to have to admit that you and your little gumshoe got the better of me. You drove me into a corner, forced me to make mistakes. I congratulate you on your triumph, but no one will confine the Raven to a cage. There is but one way out, and that is by my own hand. Farewell, Raven Hunter. R.
R. Raven.
Inspector Legrand.
Espérate, ¿está diciendo que Gerard escribió eso? No. No, aquí hay gato encerrado, señora. Aquí hay gato encerrado. O sea, es que él la mató antes de que nosotros llegábamos en el... No me di cuenta. ¿Qué pensó? Olvidé esa parte.
Inspector?
I was right. I told them all, over and over again. But no one would listen.
What about the handwriting, the wording? Does the farewell letter match the Raven's other letters?
Yes, it's his handwriting, his words. I've read all the Raven's letters, all of them, over and over again.
I never thought it was possible. A resurrected Raven.
The Raven was never dead. I shot the wrong man.
No creo.
But that man had the stolen goods, didn't he? So he must have been in league with the Raven. One could hardly call him innocent. You think that Dr. Gebhardt was really the Raven?
No.
The things Gebhardt describes in his letter aren't part of any police report. Only someone who was there would know them.
Couldn't there have been others involved? One of the police, for instance. What if one of them changed sides?
Why is it so hard for you to accept the simple truth? There was never a new Raven. There was only ever the old one. And that was Dr. Gebhardt.
The modus operandi doesn't match. The Raven was not a killer.
Legends are rarely what they seem to be, Constable Zellner.
El hombre muerto.
Then who was the man who was killed back then?
William Jackson, a petty thief, committed some burglaries together with his brother. Talented, but not world-class.
And they thought he was the Raven.
Some people thought it was part of his disguise. If you're a debonair master thief, what better disguise than pretending to be a common crook? From time to time you let them catch you pulling small jobs, and no one ever imagines you're capable of a major heist.
But you didn't believe it.
I had my doubts, but everyone congratulated me, and those doubts were pushed aside. It was like being caught in a storm, but eventually the storm passed and my doubts were still there.
But not this time? No doubts telling you that Gebhardt isn't our man?
It must be him.
Where do we go from here?
We deliver the eye and then I'll contact Paris. A task force will compare all of Gebhardt's known residences with the Raven's activity.
And if there are any inconsistencies?
You're welcome to keep an eye on the safe if you can't let it go. The ship will remain in Cairo for one day. That's all the time you'll have to catch your own Raven. I already have mine.
Ok. Ahora con la información que sabe, yo creo que el que mató no era... Si fue el cuervo... Yo creo que matamos al cuervo original y su hermano está usurpando su lugar. Tendría sentido. O era un colaborador del cuervo que murió y su hermano quiere hacer venganza. Llegamos al Cairo, señores.
You're one of Legrand's men, aren't you?
Sí.
My name is Anton Jakob Zellner.
You've come just in time. Grace, my dachshund is missing.
There may be more important matters for me to attend to, Mr.
Director Abbas Mohtar.
Mohakkar.
And Grace isn't just a common dog. She's a purebred German dachshund, a champion.
¿En serio? Ladrón del ojo.
So, the exhibition will still open tonight.
But of course, everything has been arranged. The final preparations are almost complete.
But one of the two exhibits won't be there.
A terrible loss, a tragedy. That irreplaceable Egyptian cultural treasure has been stolen for the second time.
The second time?
What? Did you really believe that the eye of the Sphinx was found lying on the banks of the Thames?
Inspector Legrand, Professor Lucien, and Constable Oliver are overseeing the transportation of the safe. They should be here at any moment. I'll have a look around in the meantime.
Do you think that's necessary? The Raven is dead, after all.
If you mean Dr. Gebhardt, his body was never recovered. Nor the stolen eye of the Sphinx, for that matter.
It does us a great honor that the Inspector is concerned about us. But we have everything under control.
Legrand isn't as concerned as he should be. But I am. Is the museum closed?
Yes. Only carefully selected guests may enter the museum during preparations for the gala.
Y yo soy uno, ¿verdad?
And of course, you're one of them, Mr. Constable.
Thank you. A ver, es que... Gerard, ¿cómo escapó? Y Legrand fue que nos ayudó. Y el violinista casi... No hablamos con él. No logramos prácticamente hablar con el violinista. Ay, ¿qué pasó con el polizón? O sea, nos hemos perdido muchas cosas.
What can you tell me about the museum's security system?
One of the best on the market. And the second eye will still be exhibited in our special treasure chamber, which is extra secure.
Treasure chamber?
See for yourself, to the right of the entrance.
Okay.
The eye is as safe as the British Crown jewels.
Oh.
I think I'll have a look around the museum.
Please do. There's a lot to see. And you let me know if you see Grace, won't you? I hope we find her before the great inspector arrives. Isn't it fantastic how he solved the murder on the ship?
Legrand?
Of course. It's in all the newspapers. The murder of the wealthy Baroness von Trebitz, and how the great Inspector Legrand identified the murderer in just one day. It's the stuff legends are made of. You should count yourself lucky to have the chance to learn from him.
Pero que fuimos nosotros que descubrimos que Gerard era el asesino. Ay, Legrand.
What exactly do the newspapers say?
Everything. It's fantastic. Someone on board must have informed the press immediately. Of course, it's a great advertising for us. The reporters will queue up tonight.
And it was reported that Legrand found the murderer.
Of course. Who else?
Well, I wasn't exactly uninvolved.
Bueno, yo hice todo.
Of course. Legrand surely has assistants, but honor to he who deserves to be honored, right?
Well then.
Be seeing you, Constable. Grace! Here, Gracie. My sweetheart.
Pero el mayordomo.
Where are you?
Oh, Mr. Inch.
Mr. Inch. There you are. I am so sorry. Baroness von Trebitz was a good-hearted woman. She did so much for the museum.
As you say, sir.
And you? Are you leaving so soon?
I'd like to go back to my hotel. These last days have been such a strain.
First, you sneak into the museum without greeting me, and then you want to leave just as quickly?
I didn't want to disturb you, and we'll have time enough tonight.
Yes, you simply must come tonight. I wanted to present Baroness von Trebitz with a medal. Now you'll have to accept it.
Of course. If you insist, sir.
The Baroness paid for all this. Without her, there wouldn't have been an exhibition or a gala.
She was very generous.
Yes, she was.
If you'll excuse me now.
A ver.
Constable Zellner, I want to thank you again for all you've done. You saved me, you could say.
My pleasure. See you tonight.
Bueno, él no fue que dijo esa mentira de que Zenel fue que descubrió el caso, no. A ver. Yo no sospecho que el cuervo sea el mayordomo que estaba con la baronesa. Pero tendrá algo que ver. ¿Cómo que entró al museo y se va? ¿Habrá robado algo? ¿Habrá alterado en la cámara del tesoro? Vamos a investigar, a ver. A ver, ¿qué tenemos aquí? Pistas y pruebas, museo. Hoy el museo está cerrado al público y esta noche solo permitirán pasar la gala a los invitados de élite. Creo que es el momento de que el pueblo procurara para atacar. Si es que estoy inocente y si es suerte, yo creo que sí es. Ay, perdón. Dar un vistazo. Debería aprovechar un rato que queda hasta llegar a cada puerta para el vistazo, sí. A ver, el violinista. Edgar. No hay ni rastro del Dr. Edgar. A lo mejor se ha tirado al mar, como el que vio en su nota de suicidio. Pero pues, no creo. Yo creo que Edgar fue el que nos atacó, porque tiene sentido. Él disparó la pistola para hacer la grabación y se escondió. El baúl. ¿Habrán revisado el baúl? Se habrá escondido. Pero no sabemos por qué mató a la baronesa. Yo quiero creer que él es un nazi que mató a la familia de la baronesa, porque dice que la familia de la baronesa murió en la Segunda Guerra. Y él parece un nazi.
Miss Miller probably entered the museum with Lady Westmacott. The lady must be famous in Egypt as well.
Seguramente. A ver.
Miss Miller, I'm glad to see you here.
Oh, Constable Zellner. I heard what happened to you on board. Awful. Truly awful.
All's well that ends well. You are waiting for Professor Lucien?
Mm-hmm.
Crucero por el Nilo, Profesor Lucien, visitante. Profesor Lucien.
Were you able to find out why Professor Lucien left the forecastle so suddenly last night?
No, not really. We only had a brief conversation. He was still very nervous.
He was like that on the train as well. Seems to be typical of him.
It must be something to do with the burglary at the museum. It really affected him. But he told me not to worry about anything. He said, soon this would all be over.
Really? How did he mean that?
Oh, I didn't ask him, Constable.
Se me acaba de ocurrir una epifanía media loca. ¿Y si el profesor se quiere robar el segundo ojo? Porque digamos, en el tren estaba obsesionado que entrara a su camarote para cuidar la cosa que tenía guardada en su bolsillo de cuero. Nosotros pensamos en un principio que era una de las llaves de la caja fuerte, que tiene sentido. Pero ¿y si el tipo escondió el ojo y lo tiene todo este tiempo y que la caja fuerte de Zurich tiene una copia falsa? Se enamoró de la mamá de Matt, de la señora Miller, y entonces después de que el cuervo robe la joya falsa, se va a escapar con ella. Digo yo.
Tomorrow you'll be sailing down the Nile, if I heard correctly.
That's right. I'm sure it will be an amazing experience.
But you don't seem to be very excited.
Oh, but I am. It's very generous of Lady Westmacott to invite me, and especially Maddie. He'll learn a lot.
But?
Well, Professor Lucien offered to join us.
Then Matt will learn even more. And I'm sure it won't be unpleasant for you either.
No, I just don't know how Maddie would react if Edgar came with us.
I understand.
Okay.
I could test the water to see how he'd feel about it.
Would you do that? Oh, thank you, Constable Zellner.
Bueno, sí.
Are there other passengers from the ship here?
Oh, yes, we arrived as a group. David Kreutzer, the violinist, was with us. So were Miss Myers and Mr. Inch. He seems to have gotten over the death of the Baroness pretty quickly. He seems positively relaxed.
I've met him. He looks on the bright side of life, so to speak. Where is Mr. Kreutzer?
He's over in the treasure chamber. Maddie is downstairs in the main hall. I'm afraid I'll hear the sound of something priceless shattering any second.
Matt will be careful, Miss Miller. I'll continue my tour of the museum.
Oh, yes, there's so much to see.
¿Y dónde ¿Dónde está la escritora? No me diga que se quedó en el barco. Dame ir a la cámara de tesoro porque no quiero perder tiempo. Oh, esta es la cámara del guardia. A ver.
Locked. The door is closed if the guard room isn't occupied. That makes sense. Though I would have expected the guard room to be occupied all the time, especially on a day like today.
Está muy relajado, ¿eh? Claro, que todo el mundo piensa que el cuervo murió. Pero Edgar no creo, que Edgar es algo aparte. Algo aparte de atrás. El violinista, por fin, quería hablar contigo.
Mr. Kreutzer will provide the background music tonight at the opening.
Claro.
Does he have anything else on his agenda? Mr. Kreutzer will provide the... Does he...
Hello, my man.
How are the acoustics, Mr. Kreutzer?
Average. I wouldn't have expected anything else from a big stone cavern.
Oh. Visitante del museo.
It seems like a lot of the passengers from the ship are here this morning.
Nearly all of them. I had a brief conversation with the Baroness's butler. Between you and I, he seems quite happy to be rid of the old battleship.
Mr. Kreutzer.
Hey.
Young Miss Mayers was here as well. Unfortunately, it seems like she's already disappeared again.
Forget it. She's engaged.
And the old witch with her caretaker and her brat are also here.
What do you have against Lady Westmacott?
The lady is more callous than the Queen of the Night. She chased her own son away. Ice cold. I met him briefly. Flew to America because he couldn't stand her anymore.
Did any of the guests behave suspiciously? Was anyone unusually interested in the treasure chamber or the security system?
I couldn't say. I'm here to check the acoustics and then I'll come back for the gala tonight. I'm not interested in your detective games.
Ok. Con lo que dijo el violinista ahora, de que la escritora tenía un hijo que con su frialdad él se fue a Estados Unidos, ¿eso no le suena a la historia de la mamá de Matty? De que ella estaba en Londres, conoció a un tipo y se fue a Estados Unidos y tuvieron a Matt, y por eso la escritora quiere cuidar a la señora Miller y a Matty, porque sabe que es su nieto y su nuera. Digo yo.
Without my detective games, this cruise could have ended badly for you. You were suspected of murder.
Claro.
You didn't have an alibi. It was your gun.
I must admit that I can imagine better ways to spend my time than being roughed up by Inspector Legrand. Your snooping actually paid off for me this time. Did you ever suspect me?
Of murder? No. I think you're too intelligent to shoot someone with your own gun without arranging an alibi for the time of the crime.
Bueno, gente, está lloviendo a cántaro en mi país y está tirando muchos rayos. Por mi seguridad, vamos a tener esto y vamos a dejar el directo de hoy. Creo que tenemos más de 20 minutos. Ay, Dios mío.
The newspaper this morning is full of reports about the events on board.
I've seen them.
Someone must have informed the press directly from the ship. He probably got a pile of money for the story, don't you think?
And again, they want to ruin my reputation. But no, Constable, it wasn't me. I didn't even consider it, and whoever did it was a bungler.
Why?
The story is in all the papers. You get more money if you sell the dirt to just one paper, as an exclusive.
Who do you think it was?